DMS Graphics presents.
My grandkids are here from 14 and 15 years old. And we're going to break from his house one day. Hey, Bob. You got young grandkids. You got young grandkids. Oh, my. Well, I got a little daughter, but she's working on now, but 15, 14. I got 20-year-old. Grandson is 22. Well, they eat too. He's in the back. Excuse me. I got two on the back.
Outside, I think.
You want me to next slide?
Greetings and good afternoon. On behalf of the Badoud family, we wish to thank you for being here. Their sons Jamie, Jason, and Jeff, his brothers John and Keith, And I might add that his brother John served with the elite 82nd Airborne Division as a captain. His sisters, Karen and Connie, and his amazing grandkids. I got to meet them today. The Badoud family wishes to express their heartfelt appreciation for all the gestures of kindness and love that you've shown them during this difficult time. And last but not least, they want to appreciate all the veteran organizations that come to stand beside them at this difficult time. Let us pray. Our dear precious and divine Heavenly Father, Father God, we just come before you now to lift you up and call you our Lord and our God. And just to understand today, Father, that Bill once again has paved the way for us, Father, and that we all must go in the direction that he's gone, Father. And Father, now we just pray that you wrap your arms around this family, give them comfort, and give them peace during this difficult time, Father. But most of all, give them the joy that they've enjoyed with their husband, their father, their grandfather. Just give them that peace that only you can give. And Father, I just pray now for the friendships and all the friends that come to celebrate this event, Father. I just pray that you give them comfort too. For this death has touched everybody's heart because of the commitment that Bill had in this community. And Father, we just pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
What an appropriate song to hear. All my Vietnam veteran brothers here must have heard that song many, many times in Vietnam. I can hear it playing over and over. Good afternoon. My name is Ray Moot, and I'm here on behalf of 140 or so remaining members of Bill's Officers Candidate School class from 50 years ago, 1966 to 67, Delta Company of Transportation Corps OCS. As a testament to Bill's larger-than-life personality, I'm joined today by 4 other classmates from 50 years ago and our wives who've driven here from Cleveland, Ohio, Statesville, North Carolina, near Tampa, Florida, and St. Louis, and one from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, who'd not seen Bill for 50 years. Suffice it to say, Bill and Debbie brought us all together today. To say that Bill was a character and indeed larger than life is kind of an understatement. For those people, it's sort of that if you're lucky enough in life, you meet 1 or 2 of these people that you can't forget. It just gnaws at you, and you think, Bill, oh yeah, I get this story to tell me. He was an us. By that I mean humorous, generous, rambunctious, cantankerous, courageous, impetuous, and a whole bunch of other us's that I couldn't even think of. As proof to his generosity, I have here a challenge coin that all the military folks know. I'll be happy to show it to you later. That were given to our OCS class that attended the reunion. It's a very nice coin. Each one of them is individually memorialized or in can describe it for us. That was Bill's idea. And Bill said, we ought to do this. And he sent a check to make it happen. So these wonderful coins we carry with us at all times. I'll remember him forever. To all of us, Bill was known as a master storyteller. I'm going to see if I get an amen to that. He assured me that even some of those stories were true. A few years ago, Bill and I were playing golf together down Hilton Hill. I'm an awful man. I really am. I've got several people that doesn't. And I'm always worried about the backup of players behind me that are trying to play through, and I'm terrible. I'm looking for my balls that are one side of the fairway to the other. So as we walked to a tee box, I glanced back and there were several other people waiting to shoot, and I was wanting to say something, but I didn't want to say anything to Bill. Bill sauntered up to the tee. He was telling one of his stories. He walked up there and he put his tee in the ground and wiggled back his driver, looked over there, and finally he threw a cigarette down. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to go on. I said, did I ever tell you the story about I was at 1,000 feet in the hot drink valley and I'd forgotten my chewing gum, something like that. I said, and then when he finished the stories, I hope I get to know this too. It's da-do. Everybody, nobody remembers the da-do. He'd finish every story instead of yada, yada, yada. It was da-do. One of Bill's close friends, Ken Colucci, lives in Hawaii. He couldn't be here today, but when he received the news of Bill's passing, he wrote to me, I'm saddened by the news, but I have enough stories of Bill to make me smile the rest of my life. He said in a recent conversation with Bill, both of them joked that they didn't want to die healthy. Now, if you'll indulge me, I'd like to read a testimonial from Carl Moore, sitting right over here amongst our OCS class, who was perhaps Bill's best friend and confidant for a very, very long time, for 50 plus years. Carl asked me to do this because he didn't think he'd be able to get through it. And I owe them both that. This is from Carl. I'm fortunate to have known Bill for more than 50 years. We met just after basic training and became friends while going through OCS together. After graduating and becoming second lieutenants, we both went to helicopter flight school and shared an apartment at Fort Rucker, then aircraft maintenance officers course back in Fort Eustis, Virginia. After almost 2 years of training, we both got orders to Vietnam and flew over on the same plane and flew back home on the same plane a year later. After Vietnam, we were both assigned to the transportation school at Fort Eustis, Virginia, where we roomed together until we met and married together. To say that I know Bill is kind of an understatement. In fact, we were best friends. In the last 5 years, we participated in the planning and attended OCS reunions in Williamsburg, Branson, and Charleston, South Carolina. When he learned that I had some health issues, he started calling me almost every week to check on me. I would call him almost every week to chat about what was happening in our lives. I will sorely miss those conversations. In late May, Bill sent a book entitled God Winks to my wife Nancy, who's sitting right beside him. The book simply recognized that God is speaking to us all the time through the miracles of nature, such as butterflies and blessings we receive from relationships and occurrences in our everyday life. With the news of Bill's passing, we received an email from Bob Lewis, one of our classmates in Richmond, Virginia. He said, Bill has been taking care of other people all his life, and God will taking care of him. So, Bill, to our dear friend, may you rest in peace. And Debbie, sweet Debbie, God be with you and your family in these difficult days. Thank you.
Most of you don't know me. That's okay. I'm here because, like you, I knew Bill. But introduce myself. My name is Bob Marshall. I'm a retired Marine aviator and privileged to serve as the president of the Madison County Military Heritage Commission. And that's really my connection to Bill Badoud. For those of you that have heard of the Hall of Heroes, of which Bill is a longtime member, the Hall of Heroes is composed of Madison County residents who are valor-decorated combat veterans. And many of you probably don't know that because of his exploits as a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, Bill was awarded 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, along with a Bronze Star Medal for his service. Those are not minor, those are significant. Bill was inducted into the Hall of Heroes many years ago, in 1991. Served on the board. I only got to know him recently. Most of you have known him far longer than I. But you know that Bill was a man of many opinions and free to share them with anyone who would listen. And I was the nominee on many occasions. And I appreciated that about Bill. Bill was enthusiastic, and sir, your comments were spot on. I have to say thank you for sharing those memories of long ago. That personality never flagged or waned. We saw that right up until the end, and I appreciate that so much about Bill. He recently attended board meetings because he had some things he wanted to share with us, and we gladly listened because of who Bill was. But the reason I'm really here is this past week I happened to be in a board meeting with about 9 other Vietnam veterans who serve on that board, all of whom know Bill and respect him very deeply. And we were pondering how best to recognize him and express our gratitude for all that he had done. And they pointed at me and said, you need to share what Bill has been doing for us recently. As already been said, Bill cared very deeply about other people. He also cared very deeply about kids. And now that I have a front row seat, I can understand why. He probably got a lot of practice in, I'd say, for probably about the past 12 years, loving on some at very, very close range as 5-meter targets. A few years ago, we took on the task of sharing the stories of combat veterans in the schools. We call it the Price of Freedom Forum. Recently, just in March and April, the principal of Huntsville High here in King invited us to come to speak to the entire student body over 4 days. These are freshmen through seniors, very young, very fine, very impressionable young men and women. And we came to find out that Vietnam is not even in the curriculum anymore in the history books, which was a shock to us. But we met with the staff, and I put out a general call to the Hall of Heroes members who would participate in this special opportunity. And Bill, of course, was front and center. I mentioned we were there for 4 days. Bill was there for 3. He spoke to hundreds of kids. And the fact that he's been a long-time storyteller was never more obvious as he stood for hours each day in front of hundreds of kids, along with a couple of other Vietnam veterans, telling them stories about why someone in their right mind would leave the comfort of home and go to a far distant land like Vietnam, get shot at, return to tell about it, and love his country more after than before. And those kinds of stories were planted in the hearts and minds of these young men and women by Bill Badoud. And he was in his glory up there telling stories about Vietnam, about what it was like to be there, about what it was like to fly, about what it was like to come home, which was not a very pleasant experience for most Vietnam veterans. And then to be productive, to raise a family, to invest in a community. And this is kind of the nugget. After the very first hour, as the students were leaving, one young man came up with a piece of paper, and we asked him what he wanted, and he said, "I'd like your autograph." In the space of an hour, for that young man who will never forget Bill Badoud, the sacrifice of the Vietnam veterans and all they did to provide us the freedoms that we so enjoy today. To that young man, they were like rock stars, as they should be, heroes. All of you who know Bill, your family, should be justifiably very proud of all that Bill did to the very end to meet the needs and fill the hearts of those around him. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Badoud. I'm Bill's youngest son. I'm here on behalf of Ken Fetterman, a great friend of my father's. He couldn't make it today, so I told him I would read these words for him. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is William Kent Fetterman. I'm not present today because of the doctor's orders not to travel due to an eye operation this past Monday. With that being said, let me begin. I met my best boyhood friend, William Allen Badoud, the first day of junior high school in 1957. I remember this day like it was yesterday. One of us gave the other the middle finger, sort of an introduction. And soon thereafter, the other one was laying on the ground after receiving a very quick jab, left jab. The puncher picked up the punch sheet, formally introduced himself, and these two young boys, both with the names of William, started a friendship that lasted close to 60 years. For the remaining 6 years of junior and senior high, we were inseparable. We'd either hang out around the Badoud household at 3945 Military Road or drive around Northwest Washington on our bicycles. Later on, riding in our 1960 or 62 Chevys, we would cruise the various high school hotspots, usually with a pretty girl by our respective sides. Upon graduation, Bill had considerably better grades than I and therefore attended the University of Maryland. I took the low road and accepted a partial baseball scholarship to East Carolina. Many of us at the time tried to separate ourselves from the politics of our country in the Vietnam War. I was part of that group. I am not proud of the stance that I took back then. I say this now in this venue because over the past several years I got to know the real William Allen Badoud. Bill was a patriot in every sense of the word. He was proud to serve his country, but did not wear his accomplishments on his sleeves. With casual conversation, you can tell how difficult his service had been to him, but his loyalty to our country never wavered. Over the years, we would talk about his family and the accomplishments of his three boys and the outstanding job that his wife had done raising them. He took no credit in all that they had done. That was a big. 3 short years ago, Bill asked me to join him in Huntsville for a short golf vacation. We spent 3 great days talking about old times, walking in the Badoud garden, playing golf, and having an occasional cocktail. While on this vacation, we toured downtown Huntsville. I have to admit, your city is very charming. While chatting in a casual manner in some kind of park, he told me to look down. I was standing on a stone dedicated to Badoud. Boy, was I impressed. In closing, the entire Badoud family was like a second family to me growing up. I knew Gary, Dale, Keith, Karen, and of course followed the football career of John. I feel for your loss. I am personally saddened by my loss, but most importantly for the loss to the immediate Badoud family, who lost not only a husband, father, and grandfather, but a great role model. I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak to you. As a final word of advice, don't ever show someone your middle finger unless you are willing to receive a punch to the face. I learned my lesson 60 years ago.
Hello, I'm John Badoud, one of 4 brothers of Billy. We had 7 of us in the family. My sister Karen, my sister Connie's in California, couldn't make it. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of a preview that we had of what Billy was going to turn out to be. We moved to Washington in '55. Bill was about 10 years old. I think he weighed 25 pounds. And that one doctor they took him to see said he's like a skeleton with a cobweb on him. He was a little guy. And 7 kids, I think Bill is the only one my father wrote an essay about. He wrote an essay about how Billy would maneuver around his older brothers and how to get back at him. And Billy was adventurous and somewhat with wild hair. And so we all had problems with our brothers, and I had a broken nose. But I did learn something about Billy. We had our conversation, and I was trying to explain something to him. And I did everything to him but waterboard him. And I finally gave him up out of exhaustion because he was going to withstand anything he could bring to you. I drew him out because of our mutual experiences in service to find out what he had done. And there's a story about Joseph Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's older brother, who was in Europe, and he was insulted, really offended, because his younger brother was in the Pacific and gotten all these awards, and he thought he was due. And it's politically correct these days to say everybody that's in uniform is a hero. Now, we're in the presence of a lot of heroes out there. But there's far more guys like me who are not heroes. We were in the service. Billy, from talking to him about his experience, his wild-haired nature probably kept him from getting awards for some of the best things he did because he was violating some rule to protect his equipment as opposed to saving lives. I mean, he preferred to save lives rather than save equipment. But one of the really, because I had some experience in the Army, that really impressed me is his command as maintenance officer of his division. And most of us who were officers, young lieutenants, inherited a structure, and we had good NCOs. And, the Army's always lived on value and talent of its NCOs. Billy inherited a department that was in utter chaos, couldn't maintain its equipment, and he went in and brought it back to where it needed to be. That's really difficult. You can always succeed when you've got great NCOs and you have a structure that's working. But for a young officer to go in and straighten out a mess like that, I think he was in a major slot when he finished up. And he was a young captain trying to negotiate the service. You've got everybody that outranks him. The other thing I'd like to say about Billy, and it's kind of deja vu, we've lost 2 other brothers. But in both cases, I had person after person come up to me and say, Billy was my best friend. And here again it happens. He's got 10 best friends out there. It was that kind of infectious personality that just made him your best friend. And he looked out after you as if you were his own friend. Appreciate all of you vets coming to honor him. And I play this mind game about my brothers. They're not gone. I'm just in Virginia. He's still in Huntsville. Other brothers in Boston, another one in California. They're not gone. Thanks again for coming.
Thanks. I'm Jamie Badoud. I'm the eldest son. Dad never met a stranger. He was quick with a joke and an incredible storyteller, but his actions did most of the talking at home growing up. With tough love came life lessons in hard work and respect. I remember holding my dad's hand and walking into a grocery store, and I was about the age of my daughter, Badoud, about 8 or so, and we're just walking in, and a lady pulls right up, parks, and kind of hold on to my dad's hand, and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, that's a handicap parking spot." And she says, "Oh, I'm just going to be in there for a second." And his eyes bulge out, and he said, "It just takes a second to slash 4 tires." Made an impression on me. All my friends loved my dad, unless you crossed him, and even then you knew where you stood. As one of my old friends just shared with me after news of his passing, nobody could get a group of squirrely neighborhood boys squared away quicker than old Bill. But he also knew how to have fun. On weeks leading up to Halloween, we set up a scarecrow out on our porch. And the night of Halloween, Dad got into that outfit. And of course, when kids would come up, trick-or-treaters would come up, and right as they're about to ring the doorbell, that outfit would jump out after them. And I can honestly say that's the hardest I think I've still ever laughed in my life. We moved around quite a bit growing up, so I have enjoyed hearing from old friends this week, and even from friends from my father sharing stories of his thoughtfulness. Evidently, he's been sending out books, CDs, and gifts to folks, as usual. Dad returned from a high school class reunion recently and sent an unsolicited copy of the yearbook to a friend that could not find hers. This points to Dad's gift of listening and caring. This is often overshadowed by his talking. But when you get a word in edgewise, Dad marinates on it for a while and will later send a solution to your troubles, which is likely connected to some gadget that includes a flashlight and a tire gauge. Somebody down at the bank must have made a mistake and commented about liking sweets, and Dad promptly brought donuts there for years regularly. This all came naturally to Dad. You know, he had a huge heart, and he loved helping people and simply making them smile. Dad was a mountain of a man, and he was the rock of our family. Through the highs and lows, he was always a strong, positive force, assuring us that with hard work, we would see a better day, and to never give up. He never stopped growing and exploring new frontiers, from developing robotics programs in grade schools to taking college courses after retirement. He certainly never gave up doing everything in his power to continue to help and support all of us. He always put us first, even when it didn't make sense, which was a fair bit of the time. As a father myself, I now marvel at how he navigated all of this and greatly appreciate all that he was and continues to be. I failed to bring a belt with me, and he's still here today. I've got his belt on, you know, so he's always coming through for me and the rest of the family. Dad had many nicknames and titles over the years, Captain Badoud to Alabama Bill. with a likeness to John Wayne, Rodney Dangerfield, and Buford T. Justice by Jackie Gleason in the Smokey and the Bandit. He was indeed a character, and he was larger than life, and he was truly one of a kind, just as Ray talked about initially. Thank you, Dad, for giving everything to Mom and us boys. Your star continues to shine bright, guiding us with love, laughs, integrity, and respect.
Honor class, host. Chapter 1067, the largest chapter in the state of Alabama. In keeping with our motto, to leave no man behind, recognizes today Captain William Bill Badoud. He was born 29 June 1945 in Detroit, Michigan. He entered the Army 8 March 1967. Most noteworthy is the fact that he served in the Vietnam War as a helicopter pilot in the elite 9th Infantry Division. His support of soldiers in the field with air power made him unique. Many times without concern for his own life during combat flights and aircraft recovery. Most uniquely about this captain is that he always recognized, as John said, non-commissioned officers for their exceptional skills in the field. What a great warrior. Captain Badoud was honorably discharged in September 1973. Because of his commitment with serving soldiers, the United States Army, he was awarded the Army Aviator's Badge, the Bronze Star Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, and the Distinguished Flying Cross Second Award. Captain Badoud was inducted into the Madison County Hall of Heroes in 1991. Because of his commitment to helping soldiers and service to his country, we, the Chapter 1067, is honored to add Captain William Allen Badoud to the United States Vietnam Wall of Honor. Sergeant Carney, execute, fire a volley. Execute roll call.
Captain Josh Perry. Here, sir. Captain John Mays.
Here, sir.
Captain Don Nagman.
Here, sir.
Captain Badoud.
Here, sir.
Captain William Badoud. Captain William Allen Badoud.
Captain William Allen Badoud is not here. He was called to active duty to stand at the right hand of the Lord.
Chapter 1067, stand at attention and preserve said honor.
Present. Arm.
Sound taps.
Mrs. Badoud, this has truly been an honor for you and for the rest of your family members. We will never ever forget the departed. And we thank you all for coming to be a part of this. I wish that I could have recognized some of the organizations that are here, but it's just great that you are here to recognize this great warrior. The Badoud family wishes to invite you to their home for a time of appreciation for the things that you've done for their family. And I have the address, and we'll have it available in the back of the chapel. Let us pray, and we will be dismissed. Our dear precious and divine Heavenly Father, Father God, we know that you will make mistakes, Father. And for that, we thank you, Father. Father, I'm so appreciative to have met so many people that knew this great man. And Father, I just pray now that as we go, that you go with us. You give us your peace and your mercy and help us to live in such a way that will honor him forever and forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
He said if it
Good job, Tommy. Good job.
You gonna have to tell your boys how to sound off, man.
Who is that?
Hold up, man.
They didn't go down the
way.